Hello, Dr. Joe here of the drjoe.com and the 2020from.com. So today I want to talk to you guys about anxiety and a study that I came across recently that seems to suggest that a particular popular food that lots of people consume may be contributing to their anxiety. Now, anxiety is a terrible, terrible mental health condition. It's very difficult to manage. Anyone who's got anxiety will probably relate to what I'm about to say here. And that's the fact that when you think you are on top of your anxiety issues, it pops back again and again and again. And it keeps doing that throughout your entire lifetime. Now, I'm particularly interested in anxiety because anxiety is inextricably tied to high blood pressure. And of course, you guys know that I'm passionate about managing high blood pressure. Hence, I wrote this book. So here's a quick plug for you guys. This is my book on managing high blood pressure with lifestyle approach. If you don't have a copy, do get a copy. Links to get the book right below this very video. Now, when I coach people, one of the things I tell them is to look out for foods that may trigger the anxiety. So when I came across a study recently, it was published 2 months ago, about a particular food that may be a trigger for anxiety, it piqued my interest. And here it is, okay? This is the food. This is aspartame. Aspartame is a sweetener that is used in a lot of foods. Lots and lots of foods are very popularly used in diet sodas. And, they seem to be suggesting that aspartame may be contributing to anxiety. So it got my interest and I felt I should share it with you folks. So let's have a quick look at this very study. So the question the researchers aimed to answer was, does aspartame induce anxiety? If you consume aspartame, can that lead to anxiety? That's the question they sought to answer. And how did they go about it? Well, it was an animal experiment, but they had humans in mind in the study design. So what they did was they had 2 groups of mice. One group, they gave them aspartame-infused water, and the other group represented the control. And in the control group, they gave them just plain water. So one group had aspartame-infused water. This is the experimental group, and the control group had plain water. And like I said, they had humans in mind, and that was reflected in the aspartame dose that was used in the experiment, because they used the equivalent of 15% of the maximum dose recommended by the FDA. Whereas the FDA recommends 50 milligram per kilogram body weight, in this very experiment, they used the equivalent of 7 milligram per kilogram body weight, and that just represents 15% of that maximum dose. So what were their results? Well, in the group that had the aspartame infused water, that group exhibited robust anxiety-like behavior. Okay, and for them, the anxiety was quite apparent compared to the controls. And how do you corroborate that despite it being apparent? So what they did was they administered diazepam to the mice, demonstrating the anxiety-like behavior, and obviously that anxiety was completely abolished with the administration of the diazepam. But that wasn't the end of the story, because the anxiety trace was actually passed on to 2 generations below. Okay, and that was quite an interesting finding. And now you must be wondering, why would aspartame cause anxiety? Well, here's why. When you consume aspartame, the aspartame gets converted to aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methanol. And all 3 substances, they have potent effects on the central nervous system. And the effect we're talking about is excitatory. Okay, is an excitatory effect which leads to anxiety. It's more or less a stimulant, if you like, aspartame, by virtue of the fact that it gets converted to aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methanol. And here's the study. It was published in Neuroscience, titled Transgenerational Transmission of Aspartame-Induced Anxiety. and changes in glutamate, GABA signaling, and gene expression in the amygdala. So, right off the bat, when I look at this top here, and I'm looking at what's written here as the ingredients, it says, aspartame contains a source of phenylalanine. Okay, there you go, the phenylalanine that I was talking about a short while ago. Obviously, aspartame does get converted to aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methanol, which are excitatory. Now, here's something you should know. For you to stay on top of your anxiety, there has to be a fine balance between excitation and inhibition. You don't want the excitation to dominate because if it dominates, that triggers anxiety and fear. Okay, so you don't want that. You want the inhibition to actually dominate just a little bit. Not too much, but it must dominate the excitation for you to stay on top of your anxiety issues. So that's the first thing you need to know. And like I said before, one of the things I tell people that I coach is that they have to watch the foods they eat. Look out for foods that induce anxiety. You were fine yesterday and then all of a sudden today you're feeling a little bit anxious. You got to ask yourself, what did I eat yesterday? What could have triggered it? What did I have for dinner last night? Those are some of the things that you need to watch out for if you want to be on top of your anxiety, because food does contribute to anxiety. Yes, there are lots of foods that contribute to anxiety, especially some of the processed foods. And of course, aspartame is in thousands of foods, and you want to look out for that. Okay, you want to look out for that. Now, the reason why I decided to do this video is to alert you to the fact that aspartame may lead to anxiety. It could be a trigger for your anxiety, and you want to be looking out for that. That's the reason I did this, for you to become really aware of the fact that aspartame is potentially an anxiety trigger for a lot of people. So look out for it, and you decide whether that is something that you want to keep consuming or not, okay? Because I don't believe that aspartame is a healthy sweetener, in my opinion, and is best left on the shelf. So hopefully you got some value from this very video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, please like the video, and also please share this video with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. Share it with anyone who's got anxiety that you're aware of. And if you got any questions, any comments regarding the content of this video presentation, go ahead, leave your comments or questions down below. I think that's about it. Until next time, well, this is Dr. Joe signing out.